Hey everyone, Jason Weckerle here. I'm going to teach you guys how I take care of minnows in my refrigerator. Yes, that is a fish tank in my refrigerator. You can keep these fish alive weeks, sometimes months, as long as you can keep the water cold enough. You do frequent water changes, and you make sure to get the dead ones out of the container so that they don't rot and contaminate the water. I mean, I've kept minnows alive for 4 months at a time, almost all winter long at times. And minnows have gone up in price, and you don't want to waste it. So what I do is I get myself a container like this. I poke holes in the top of it for air ventilation so that when this air pump system is running, you're not forming toxic gas bubbles on the surface. As you can see, I just did a water change recently. They're all nice and happy in here, healthy. I got an air stone right here that's blowing out smaller bubbles. I do believe they can breathe in the bubbles in the air a little bit easier if you give them some smaller bubbles. And I notice if you have large bubbles blowing through your tank that it forms big bubble pockets on the surface, and you don't want that either because gas can get trapped in the water and they'll die. And if you don't have these holes in the top of the lid, you'll get gas trapped in between the lid and the surface of the water, and these fish will start to die. So poke holes in it and it seems to solve the problem just fine. I just run it off your basic fish tank air pump. You can get one of these for $8 to $10 at the store. I got the lid for the container and lid for $4. I bought all this at Walmart, but pet stores and any store you can find this stuff at, go for it. What I do for water changes, I just take a chemical like this. This takes away chlorine and all the toxic chemicals in tap water. And I take a cap full. I just dump it in there. And I keep the bucket out on my porch if it's winter time or it's cold outside in fall or early spring, and it makes that water cold enough to do a water change. These fish survive in cold water a lot easier, but they're not going to survive if you just keep the bucket outside all the time. Like in winter time, the water will freeze up, and you don't want that either. So if you can keep them outside, go right ahead, like in a garage or out on your porch or patio. But you're a lot better off putting these things in a refrigerator in a controlled temperature. They're not going to freeze up on you, and they seem to survive and stay really healthy for a long time in the refrigerator. Just get yourself this little container. As you can see, it's not that big. My hand, I don't have huge hands, but this container can hold about 5-6 dozen shiners very easily. You can do this with fathead minnows, rosy reds, suckers, red-tailed chubs, all that stuff. Just make sure you keep this water nice and cold, and you don't have to do anything about feeding them really. I don't know what to feed these guys. I've tried to put fish food in the water and they don't eat it, and it ends up contaminating the water. So don't do that. But another thing you don't do not transport river water or lake water home with you because it's against the law. Use tap water or the water that the bait shop gives you, but do not transport lake or river water home with you. It's against the law. The DNR will give you a ticket if they catch you. It can spread VHS disease, And the way that disease spreads is if you put fish from one body of water into another, like a contaminated fish, or if you put water that's contaminated with the disease from one body of water to another. So do not bring home lake water, and they don't really survive in lake water too well for a long time, so I don't recommend it. Don't do it, and you should be fine with the DNR, and you should keep your minnows alive a lot longer. If you guys do water changes, try not to put these fish in warm water to cold water or cold to warm water too quickly. Try to make sure the temperature is about equal. I mean, you could do that with a water thermometer if you wanted to, but usually I do fine just putting the bucket outside during the winter time for a few hours, get the water cold. As long as they go from cold water to cold water, they survive just fine. But if you put them from warm water to cold water or vice versa, you're gonna put their bodies in the shock and kill them. So make sure if you do this, I know it sounds a lot harder than it actually is, just don't change the temperature too drastically on them too quickly. And again, do not use lake or river water or bring it home with you. If you guys feel like you've learned anything from this video, subscribe to my page, and if you watch my videos, I'm going to try to teach you how to fish, all the knowledge I've gathered over the past 35 years of me fishing here in the Midwest. I mainly fish in Wisconsin, but right now it's been pike and walleye season for me all winter long, and that's why we got a bunch of shiners here waiting to get eaten up by some giant predators. Subscribe to my page. Good luck fishing. Stay safe if you're ice fishing this season. I hope this information helped you. Take care.